Alright guys, I know I'm a bit late on this, but this has just come to my attention here. It turns out that Blizzard has made an announcement about a new Diablo 2 game. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this video here and just I'll add in my comments as it goes here. So here we go. Yep, let's turn on the sound.
Hello, BlizzCon! BlizzCon, we love Diablo.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I realize that this guy is he's hired to do this announcement, but I think he's just, is it a little condescending when he talks like that? It's almost like he's talking to a group of 10-year-olds or something, or maybe like 6-year-olds. Anyway.
We love the way Diablo has brought millions of players around the world together to slay demons.
I think really the point of Diablo has always been to find items, or at least since the second one. So, okay.
Our modern world is an increasingly connected one. Our mobile devices keep us closer than ever to our friends, family, and loved ones. So we knew we want to use mobile devices as the platform for a new Diablo game. Because nothing brings a family together like slaying demons.
I don't know if I'd really describe the Diablo series as a family game. I know my parents weren't too fond of it. I probably, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird, a lot of the stuff that he's saying here. It's very weird. But it's almost like he doesn't know anything about the game himself, and he's like putting together stuff, that you would just generically say about anything you wanted to promote and tossing it in there with Diablo 2. It's very weird.
But we want to do it in a way that's true to Blizzard. Putting
What the heck does that mean?
gameplay first.
Oh, okay. Is that really what Blizzard's about now? I guess.
We want to do it in a way that feels right.
What the heck does that mean?
For Diablo.
For Diablo.
We are making a full-fledged action RPG you can play everywhere with everyone. Now, I have a cinematic to show you, but first, allow me to set the stage.
This part gets let's just get into it.
At the
this
end
part gets a little
of Diablo 2,
horrible.
Lord of Destruction,
Gets a little cringy.
Baal had corrupted the WORLDSTONE. The WORLDSTONE is an object of immense power.
Yeah, the way he's telling this is like, I don't know, it's your grandfather telling some war story or something like that. But really, the Diablo series was never about the story. This story was horrible. I mean, I think anybody who's played and got into Diablo 1, 2, and even 3 is probably knows the story is just there so you have something to, some motivation to go find items, basically. Diablo has always been about the mechanics. What I want this guy to say is I want this guy to, maybe gloss over the storyline real quick and then just get to the mechanics. What are you guys doing new or fixing or whatever? He doesn't do that here. He just you're supposed to be impressed with his telling of this story, but this story is just ridiculous. It's just garbage, really. It's always been garbage. I don't care about that too much with Diablo because, like I said, it's about the mechanics, and that's kind of where they're going wrong here, in my opinion.
It has the power to create worlds. The WORLDSTONE was used to create Sanctuary. Baal, one of the primevals, had corrupted the WORLDSTONE, and that corruption threatened to echo through all of humanity, turning humans evil and violent.
Yeah, but nobody
The
cares.
Archangel Tyrael, knowing
Nobody
this,
cares about any of this.
made the sacrificial decision to use his legendary blade Eldruin, Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, he's still
We
going
are
on about
so
this after
excited about this game.
about a minute.
Diablo Immortal is our chance to explore 20 years of untold stories that happened in between Diablo 2 and
Nobody cares about the damn story. God dang it.
Diablo 3. What happened to Tyrael after the explosion?
Yeah, what happened to Deckard Cain? He almost said. We all know that something happened to him in 3. And a lot of people were pissed off about that. Funny he kind of mentioned that, almost a Freudian slip there.
Explosion of the WORLDSTONE. What was Deckard Cain up to during this time? Why?
Does anybody really care about what Deckard Cain was up to during some part of this Diablo 2 story, or the Diablo story? I don't think so.
Why did Malthael abandon?
So he's still going on about the story. I don't know. I don't want to be too hard on this guy. I realize this is his job, and whatever I don't know what his, how associated he really is with Diablo at all. But he's touting the wrong thing. He's sitting there wasting all his time trying to tell us about a story nobody cares about with Diablo. I think very few people, maybe some like small percentage of people really are into Diablo because of the story. But for the most part, the story is just, it's just there to get you to play the game so you can experience the great mechanics that it once had. And I want to hear him say, we're going to fix the mechanics or something like that. But here he is still talking about the story.
In heaven. I want to be there for the founding of the demon hunters and the
Okay.
golden age of
I didn't know the demon hunters had a whole backstory, but
Westmarch. We'll have new stories for beloved characters. We've partnered.
How many beloved characters do we have in Diablo now? I can't think of too many.
With NetEase to create Diablo Immortal. NetEase has been a partner, a close partner of Blizzard for almost 10 years.
NetEase, I think, is it a Chinese development company? A mobile development company. I believe what Blizzard has done is they've passed a lot of this development off to a mobile development company. So this is not in-house, which is, I think, probably, bad news. I mean, Diablo 3 didn't turn out very well, but, I mean, now that this is a totally different company making this is going to be getting even further away from, the core Diablo mechanics, I think.
Years. And their passion, dedication, and expertise have allowed us to bring Diablo to mobile. Now, I know what you're thinking.
No, you don't.
You want to see some gameplay. So up next, let's have a look at what Diablo Immortal looks like in action. Let's roll it.
Now, I've seen this, and it doesn't seem to be really too much of the action. It seems to be a lot of cutscenes from what I can tell. But we'll go through it anyway. there's your phone there that you're playing that damn thing on. Now, I don't have a problem with Blizzard making a Diablo 2 or Diablo mobile phone game. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's not the fact that it's mobile. It's really just the fact that when I'm looking at this, when we're going to see it, it looks awfully lot like Diablo 3, and probably, my guess is, has a lot of the same mechanics. And it was the mechanics in Diablo 3 that kind of turned me off to the series. So they've really, you know, they've gone through all this trouble to make a game, but they haven't bothered to kind of go back to their roots and fix what's wrong with the mechanics. And that's what bothers me about this. So there we have the Barbarian, looking pretty similar to what I remember him looking like in Diablo 3, and that I believe is an attack I remember from Diablo 3 when I played the Barbarian. So this looks like Diablo 3 mobile. This is what this looks like to me, which is bad. Again, Demon Hunter. Also, sorry, let me stop eating my orange here. Didn't actually plan on talking too much right now, but yeah, Demon Hunter. Those creatures look to me like Diablo 3 creatures. This looks like they just took a lot of the Diablo 3 assets and put them into a mobile game. Which means I won't be too interested in it because I didn't like, well, first of all, I didn't like the art style. And second of all, I really didn't like the mechanics, and that's what worries me the most, is because this is looking like the same mechanics. There's a huge number of like hits and the big numbers and everything like that. This just looks like Diablo 3 to me, and it's mobile. This is not what I wanted to see. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the mobile aspect too much, although I think they should have released it on the PC first if they're going to release a new Diablo game. But really my main gripe is that it looks to me like it's just Diablo 3 again, which I didn't like at all. Nope. What can we say about this little screenshot right here? So I'm not sure what that little crystal thing is. This is the wizard. Yeah, that was a class in Diablo 3, I remember. It looks like her little, one of her little shield things. That's, again, I remember that. I'm not sure if they changed anything about it. I'm not sure what else is going on here in this picture. We got a crystal thing. That's probably, maybe that's her spell effect. But, I also noticed that we got that, got like a map up there. It's been a while since I played Diablo 3. I don't remember that. But it's also, she's got her skills selected down there. Okay, that's probably her skill that she's using right there, looks like. Yeah. Barbarian. I do think I remember that attack from the Barbarian. The Necromancer, I think they might have added a Necromancer when I stopped playing Diablo 3, because I only played it for a little while. But, yeah, it's, I assume that Necromancer is from Diablo 3 as well. Six heroic classes. Okay, so you got, let's see, there was the monk, there was the barbarian, there was the sorceress, there was the witch doctor. I don't know what happened to him. I didn't see him in here. That's 4. Don't remember how many classes there were in Diablo 3, but it looks like most of them are going to be ported from Diablo 3 is what the deal is. And that is what, a paladin? That's my guess. Sorceress. Again, this is not really gameplay. This is cutscenes. Would like to see a little bit more in-depth stuff about the gameplay. It makes me nervous because they're hyping the story, and as I said, Diablo's story has always been pretty crap. It's nothing worth paying attention to. So if they're hyping the story so much, maybe they don't have anything better, which is really worrisome. Okay. That was the assassin, that's right. That's a class I forgot. So we got the assassin, the barbarian, the sorceress, and necromancer at this point, I think. Did I miss anything? Oh, and the monk. So that's 5. Didn't see the witch doctor. Again, this is not gameplay. This is some kind of cutscene. And do I care about the barbarian, finger wrestling with a demon? Not really. So we've got, I guess, I don't know, maybe you can get mounted in this game here. We've got somebody dragging along a monster behind them on a horse. Okay. Is that a new mechanic? Why don't you tell me? So we got like a charge up thing that's going on. Yeah, I don't like you know, Diablo, the first Diablo, it had cooldown, or the second Diablo, I'm sorry. It did have cooldown, but it didn't have charge up effect stuff. New zones, stories, new dungeons. This is really something that I'm sad to see right here, because Diablo 3 had a lot of this. It had a lot of these kind of gimmicky type gameplay things where you do something. Oh, I'm trying to think of an example. You'd go in a certain area, and it'd be like there'd be a storyline to what you were doing and all this stuff. And that's, okay, once that's okay, but if you're playing a Diablo game, then you're doing it many, many, many times, and it gets so old. You're doing it like at least 3 times per difficulty, right? Or once per difficulty, 3 times total. Do I really want to do this kind of thing, that many times? It's just, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. This looks, to me, this doesn't look like a cutscene. This looks like actual gameplay, and therefore I'm not, Diablo, spelunking, come on. Yeah, this is some kind of gameplay, as you can see. So this is going to be something you're going to have to do quite a few times in the game, and that's going to get pretty old. And that, I can't tell what that is. I assume that's... What is that? Is that the Barbarian? Whirlwinding? Okay, it's another goofy mechanic they added, looks like. Similar to Whirlwind from what I can tell. There's the monk. Oh, and you're on rafts in that one. Let me go back. Yeah, so we've got a raft scene, too. So they got even more gimmicky in this one, apparently, even more so than Diablo 3, where now you got, like, times where you're getting on rafts and all this kind of stuff. Really, Diablo, playing through kind of a story, because you have to do it so many times just because of the nature of the game, it's not fun. It's not fun. Playing through these little storyline things, like, being on a raft or spelunking in a cave. It's good one time. It's like one time that you do it, it's okay. And for those games that do that, where you only have to play through them once, it's okay. But with Diablo, you're playing through it so many times, it gets so old. And, okay, so, yeah. Again, this looks like it might be interesting, but, with the type of game that Diablo tends to be, or should be, or I'm assuming will be, that's another thing that it's like, so what? So you can drag people around on your horse, so what? How do I kill monsters faster? That's the only thing you care about in Diablo. Look like a sorceress, I guess. Massively multiplayer on mobile. Yeah, okay. Not a bad idea. I'm not saying that that's a bad idea that they go mobile. It's just, this looks like Diablo 3 to me. And that's a bad thing. So they're lined up there. The Barbarian's doing a smash thing. This is another weird thing. So we've got like a party. Now it's interesting because Diablo 3, in my memory, is a little shaky on this. I don't remember how many people could actually be in a game in Diablo 3. This was one of the problems with Diablo 3. It wasn't very multiplayer. I want to say there was like a max of 4 people, whereas in Diablo 2, what did you have? 8 people in a game? Yeah, 8 people in a game in Diablo 2. I believe in Diablo 3 there was 4 people. Looks like here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. I see a name that says Crusader there. Maybe that's 8. So maybe, all right, Maybe that's cool. Maybe you can now have an 8-player game. That's better. I think the more the merrier for a multiplayer game. Having more people in the game is better. And I'm not sure what they're doing, though. They've got, like, they're robbing a stagecoach is what they're doing. Okay. And what is that? That's a neat looking monster over there, or whatever that is whatever that is over there moving. Again, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Okay, 4 people in that game. From what I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4 people in that game from what I can count. There goes the barbarian with his... And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people in that game, okay. And this, again, this particular monster, I remember this from Diablo 3. It kind of saddens me a little bit that they're using so many assets, because if I already played a bunch of Diablo 3, which I kind of did in the beginning, then I want to see some new monsters. And it looks to me like now all we've got is the same stuff that we had in Diablo 3 for the most part. I mean, there's a few new things, but I would want to see, like, especially for the bosses, I would want to see something new and unique. Okay, it looks like a giant ghost. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3, or 4. We got 1, 2, 3. It looks like we get 3 people in that game. Okay. Actually, you know, because I stopped playing Diablo before the expansions came out, for all I know, those things might be in the expansions, and we might not have anything new. Anyway. Now, I will say one good thing about Diablo 3. I do remember the boss battles being pretty epic. And, you know, I'll put that in Diablo 3's favor. It was pretty, you know, pretty amazing to have those really big bosses, and they were really hard. So, one bonus to Diablo 3, I guess, from my side. What the heck is that? Diablo Immortal. Okay. I think it's it's maybe I don't know, maybe a bad omen they named it Immortal, because I think this is probably the game that's going to kill Diablo, but whatever.
Authentic Diablo gameplay.
I don't know about that.
At your fingertips. We have new stories to tell, new skills for you to master.
Okay, well, the Diablo 3 gameplay mechanics did not have you master any skill. All you did was select a skill, and then you used it, and that was it. You didn't even put points in it, so whatever.
If you want to know more, we'll be back here on the Mythic stage in just a few minutes. For those of you who are here at BlizzCon, thank you. We are going to have...
You know, Diablo looks... They have... It's amazing what artists can do, and you know, how they kind of compound on each other's work, but... Diablo looks more and more scary every year. I'll give that to him. Every time they draw him, he looks more scary.
We welcome you here to BlizzCon, and there has never been a better time.
My God. Are those people paid to dress up like that, or did they do that? Did they do that by themselves? It's quite elaborate.
To be part of this incredible Blizzard community.
I think those are, you know, part of the presentation, I think.
We have a demo of Diablo Immortal playable here on the show floor.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe these people are just normal people that came in dressed up like that. I like that, the ice cream cone shoulder guards.
In Hall D.
Shoulder guards.
And for those of you watching at home, visit DiabloImmortal.com for more information about Diablo Immortal. There has
I think I did go to the Diablo Immortal webpage just briefly. I didn't see any like details about mechanical changes. I can only assume that this is just Diablo 3 mobile, because otherwise I'm sure they, give me more details about the mechanics and hype something there.
never been a better time to explore everything that Blizzard has to offer here at BlizzCon and alongside the rest of this incredible Blizzard community. As you wander the show floor, take time to say hi to those of us here at BlizzCon. Everybody at BlizzCon wearing the blue crew shirts at Blizzard would love to say hello.
So Blizzard's gotten so big now that they throw their own conventions just for them, as kind of like a giant PR thing. They started out, pretty small as just like a team of people basically, and then they did Warcraft, and then I guess they hired some people that became Blizzard North, and then they did Diablo, and then they got just gigantic. And their early games were pretty solid. But I think they've reached the point where they are just so big and so corporatized that they can't innovate anymore. And it's kind of strange because you'd think with a company so big, what's a couple $1 million to make an innovative game on the side of, all that they're doing. But it's almost like they can't do that. They have all this money, but it's all got to go into these massive, sterile projects that they pump out now. It's really quite amazing. But Blizzard, I think, has peaked already, and they're on their way. They're on their way to their decline, and I think it's pretty proof. Two Diablo games that the Diablo 3 did sell well. I think it was sold better than anything, but that was mostly just momentum, in my opinion. That wasn't based on how good of a game it was. And this, I think, is going to be the one that the straw that breaks the camel's back here. This release they're doing now.
Have fun, make friends, and have an epic BlizzCon. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so that was that, yeah. What are my thoughts? Well, I can't say I'm shocked. I really can't say I'm shocked at that. That's pretty much what I expected the next Diablo to kind of be. I don't know if this is like, I don't know if just right after this they're going to come out with Diablo 4. I actually expect them to do something like that. I don't expect this to be their next Diablo game. I expect them to actually, come out with something for the PC first. But I can't say I expected them to go back to their roots and start making good Diablo games again. Unfortunately, I was pretty turned off by Diablo 3 when I played it. It was fun for a little while, but it just did not have that same hook, and just it got so old so fast. Whereas Diablo 2 was something that I played and pretty much never got bored of. Yeah, I'm not surprised really. Anyway, it's time. I mean, it's time for Blizzard to. This is the great thing about game development. And it's one of the horrible things and the great thing. It's such a tough business, and you make a mistake and you're dead. It's a very, very tough business, and Blizzard, you can get to a point where Blizzard is, where it has all this all this money and all this momentum behind it, but still no one's going to save them if they keep screwing up. They're going to go down just like everybody else is, before them. And it looks like that's starting to happen. So anyway, whereas in other places in life, like in politics and stuff, people who screw up don't always go get kicked out, right? But in the game development industry, this is the real thing, you know, you screw up for too much and too long, and you know, you go extinct. And so anyway, all right, well, I'll get back to making Let's Play videos, and hope you guys enjoyed that, my opinion, I guess.